Hello, my monstrosities. Hello once again. Today I bring to you a weekend overview. We have a lot of war to be hammered this weekend as some big events are going down all around town. I shouldn't say that too tough because it looks like a lot of it's over here in the US, but that's not going to stop us from having a good time. I am interested to see and how I think a lot of us are interested to see how DG and World Eaters fare. That last weekend, Death Guard definitely did a number on people, but so did Imperial Knights. And personally, I attribute a lot of new codex dominance to people really just not being used to things. Like if you take a any 40k faction, you take a player that's been playing the faction forever and some things that you were using get buffed and now they're better in other ways, yeah, that just means that you have an advantage um, versus some people, right? And that usually would be enough. So I don't ever really buy into the first weekend dominance things. So I want to see if that continues this one. And I'm not saying that the Death Guard Codex is bad by any means, but I think people are going to find out some things about it and how to interact with Death Guard differently than they used to. So, starting off, we have a tourney that half of the things that I just said won't apply to. 40k Rocky Top Rumble 2025. We have it starting tonight of recording, but for you all, yesterday. Yeah, I put my video is going to be up at 7 a.m. my local time on the 23rd. So pulling back the curtain, I recorded this yesterday for you. This will be happening in Knoxville, Tennessee, and you can play Death Guard and World Eaters with their old list. Cutoff material May 1st. The new World Eaters and Death Guard codexes didn't make the cut because their official release is not until May 10th, and there would be not enough time to consider any FAQs. They did that to protect the integrity of the event. So, unfortunately, Rocky Top Rumble won't have the new codices in play. But if you are wondering how anything fares before that gets live or is universally live, I guess I should say, you can get this War Games Live. War Games Live, looking at the calendar to double check, seems to be scheduled to be covering the Rocky Top Rumble. So, go ahead, check that out, see what happens in the event. Looks like it can still be a pretty good one. Next, we have Warhammer 40,000 GT, Warhammer Open Dallas. This one will be taking place 2 hours after this video is live in the U of S, Arlington, Texas. So, I gotta admit, can't really make too many calls on this one because lists aren't in. Check in for both of these doesn't seem to be through. So, and I also haven't seen if somebody's going to be covering this. I did a search and there's one channel that might, but it looks like they are pivoting away from Warhammer. So I'm not quite sure if anybody knows if this event will be covered. Please put that down in the comments below. So, why am I even talking about it? Because look at how many people are in attendance. We have over 200 people, 238 if I can do math, scheduled to attend. Actually, we can just do this, right? Yeah, I can do math. 238, got one check in. Shout out Ashton. Um, to attend this event. So, big event means somebody, if you have BCP open this weekend and you're just looking for shit, look for this to see how it goes. Next up, we have the Bay Area Open 2025, scheduled with 178 players in Burlingame, California, United States. So, this is looking like an FLG event. This is, oh, duh, it's champs. Bay Area Open. Sorry, sometimes your brain, when you're just looking at it, just you forget. Either way, now just anyway, it's an FLG event. The event details: the Bay Area Open is Frontline Gaming's longest-running legacy event, and where it all started many moons ago. Come join us in celebrating 15 years of serving the community while participating in 40K, the Old World, and Blood Bowl tournaments. Oh, it looks like this is going to be pretty nice to see, and this one will be covered, as I can see, from or by Tabletop Live. So get in there, go check that out. This will be happening, and you will see 24th start date. And thankfully for this one, we do get to see some lists have been submitted. We will see quite the variety. Looking through it, as you can see, that's more Death Guard than we've seen in many moons attend an event. So I don't like opening lists to like show what somebody's using ahead of the event. You better at least open BCP for that. Um, but yes, we have very open with the new codices being live. Let's just do this. Let's see Death Guard. Yeah, there's 16 Death Guard players. World Eaters. World 10 World Eaters players. Alright. That's not too bad, not too bad. Um, any Emperor's Children? Let's see. Emperor, can I spell? Only 4 Emperor's Children players. Interesting. I guess people are still trying to obtain models and all other things. Because Emperor's Children isn't bad by any means. Uh, I definitely see the rough spots. Oh wait, Adrian of Tabletop Titans is going to be there. Sorry, just now saw that. So, Tabletop Titans. I wonder if will they cover the event. I don't know. Either way, Tabletop Titans Adrian will be there. Um, but yeah, so I think that Emperor's Children is fine. Less people are flocking to it than I imagined, which is strange. And even some people that I know love everything Slanesh haven't jumped on it as quickly. I think I said this in a video before that it's kind of odd. I guess it has to still be tough to obtain all the models right now. I'm not opening up anything that. I mean, I guess we could. Nah, I'm not typing anything before it auto completes like my fucking address or something. Um, but yeah, it is. It's it's interesting. I guess with some ranges being hit and not included, people really didn't want to spring for it. We also have some familiar names that I see right in my face. Don't want to put too much pressure on anybody. Um, I guess I'll say this in here, because in general, some coverage. Sometimes I am very surprised by who finds my videos. I tell you that. But if you are a frequent tournament goer, there's a good chance that I've seen your name, and I just don't want to say anything before the event because I feel like that's I don't know. I feel like I shouldn't be like, yeah, look at this person, and then there's a random video on the internet telling you to go 5-0 or 6-0 at events. So that's why I don't do that either. So if anybody's ever wondering, like, wow, I've been a diehard of this faction, and he's never mentioned, even though I know I'm in all the ones. I just don't do that ahead of time, and then after, usually everybody else has covered something. So that's kind of why I don't do that. But back on track, Emperor's Children. I guess people are finding the rough part that I was kind of concerned about, which seems to be getting through bigger things. Now, kind of a spoiler. I don't know if I'll make this a video in the future, but I just looked at some of the chapter approved mission deck stuff, and I really think GW is trying again with making it so that you are incentivized for multiple units and not just big things. While doing that, in the era of releasing Imperial Knights and Chaos Knights. So hey, don't know what's going on there, but I think that's what they're striving away for. So if that tends to be the case, I think that Emperor's Children will have better luck in that mission deck. Like I think that's going to be my wild call out for that now. But as it stands in the moment, I think other things like Imperial Knights are going to continue to do pretty well. Because that's a mean stat check. I actually was, again, pulling back the curtain. I don't know if I'll still make the Chaos Knights video. If I do, here's the spoiler. But I made a joke on the Imperial Knights video. I was like, man, maybe Chaos Knights gotta just give up and finally take one of the big boys to get on the same level. But I don't know what you could do. There's some things that you just can't deal with. Like there are 8 armatures running around with a 6 up feel no pain that can go to a 5 up feel no pain, and a Titanic unit that's T12 Canis Rex probably for the most part. There were a good couple of lists that had other Titanic units. So let's look at that. How many Imperial Knights players are here? Imperial 7. That's more than most people would expect, I guess. How many people were at this event again? 170. So I wonder if we'll see Imperial Knights continue to do things, because apparently we're the ones that know how to use them in the U.S. That, let's be real, it's probably the terrain, right? But the terrain difference really gives Imperial Knights more leeway over here. But to that point, Chaos Knights, how we doing on Chaos? If you're wondering why I'm typing slow, I'm a mile away and kind of just leaned back. So, huh? Only 2 Chaos Knight players. Yeah, I don't. I admit I haven't seen the Death Guard or the World Eaters Codex into anything bigger, right? Like I don't know how they get through Imperial Knights. If you are familiar with that matchup, please let me know, because that's something that I am currently curious about, given how well and just I'm going to continue to double down on this. How well Titanic is doing right now. We've seen Stompa appearances. We've seen Chaos Knight appearance with a Titanic. I know I just said we haven't seen many of those, but there was one in Australia, and we've seen Imperial Knights. But like I just said, I still wonder if a Wraith Knight can come back for Eldari. Because apparently, I covered this in a video. I don't think it'll happen, but it's just absurd to me that it's possible. If you throw a Wraith Knight in Devoted of Yanid, it becomes a Yanara unit. It doesn't really do anything because half of the things say excluding Titanic, but like still that's fucking wild to me. So I wonder if there's any chance for anything like that to happen. I was looking through the Astra Militarum roster too. Um or unit range, I should say. And I want to know when things like Bane blades and Doom hammers, Bane hammers, the Titanic fucking Astra Militarum tanks. I kind of don't see a reason why you wouldn't bring them out right now. Like they seem like a decent enough inclusion in at least a funny list or something right now, especially the ones that are transports. I've I didn't believe in mechanized assault. I'll be 100% honest. David Gaylord talked a bit about mechanized assault, and actually, so far, I think is the only mechanized assault top that I've seen. Uh, and I'm like, I just can't see it. But then he tops with it, and I'm thinking that Astra Militarum, your codex is just better than we know. Because I've seen a top with just about every detachment, including Bridgehead Strike post nerf. So why am I talking about how did that go from Titanic into that? So Mechanized Assault has, I believe that's the right one, that has shenanigans with transports. some of those Titanic units are transports, and I don't know if there's any play there. But if there's some play to be had in mechanized assault, and some play with Titanic units being used, I'm just saying that you might be able to feast right now. Also, I believe the keywords don't allow for Titanic to do anything in Hammer of the Emperor, but we just saw a Tesseract Vault top with Star Shatter Arsenal, and the only thing you can do is get +1 to hit in Star Shatter Arsenal versus targets on objective, because like everything says excluding Titanic. Uh, I don't remember if the enhancement does, but I mean, I guess you could put the Silent King there to similar effect, or Canoptic Spider. So all of this is a roundabout way of saying I don't know. I don't know. If I had to make some calls about some things, I think we're still going to see Death Guard do well enough, but I think I'm more bought in to Imperial Knights surprising people. Also, thinking about it, thank you, Clayton, for what I'm about to say. Um, Chaos Demons just kind of disappeared, even though they were doing fine. And same with uh 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 Gilliman, Re- Rabuti, and Calgussi. Uh, that combo still performed throughout, and Devoted if you need. All of these things have been performing still, and they're just like going away. Let's see if we can see a Astartes. Sorry, I just dropped my cable, so that probably got picked up on the mic. Sorry about that. Uh, Yeah, not looking at too many. Only ten Space Marines, like straight up Space Marines, out of 100 people. Just feels weird, and they're not bad right now. So I don't know what's going on with that. Um, I almost typed in Yanari, Eldari. What are we looking at? 13. Uh, no, I guess I should finish typing it. Hold on, Eldari 8. All right. Uh, 8 Eldari players. Again, I don't open lists, so I didn't think to check to see how many of those were Unari and how many of those were Ultramarines. But I'm just saying, uh, there's there's a lot of scary things right now. Can Unari? I think Death Guard might be just a hard counter to Unari. Or still, is it still? Because I think that they won that matchup before, right? Comments, let me know if you are either one of those players. Tell me how that matchup goes for you. Um, So, main takes as far as Bay Area Open, I think we're going to see Imperial Knights again. Any funky things? Any funky picks? Hmm. Is there anything funky that I think can like top 8 right now that nobody's expecting? I think sisters are better than people are aware. I just saw 2 more tops this past weekend. And is anybody bringing them? Actually, let's do that. Is anybody bringing Adept? There are Sisters players. Mm, there are Sisters players. I don't know if Hollow Mart. I know everybody does Hollow Martyrs. Like I get it. But we also just saw Champions of Faith top, and I'm just waiting for people to realize Army of Faith. Cough cough. I'm not going to shut up about that until all of you Sisters players that stumble into my humble abode try it out and then take it out to the same win rates that it can achieve. Um, because just turning off anything that Death Guard throws at you with Champions of Contagion, oh my gosh, oh that's the one that I think I'm starting to buy into. I think that's the Death Guard detachment I'm starting to buy into. For those unaware, Champions of Contagion, I believe, is the one that you get to switch your plagues, afflictions, whatever, uh, throughout like whatever the entire army rule is. So I think that has insane play. So to that point, I think Army of Faith is good to address that because is it an if you target a jump pack unit, is it an aura or is it one unit? I can't remember what that stratagem is. Turning off that would be nice. Who else can turn off ignore? Oh, maybe Necron still with Silent King builds. Wait, hold on. I don't know. Necrons doesn't feel too sleeper to say that I think Necrons can do good because Necrons can always do good. Uh, I think Votan have it kind of tough right now, to be honest. Votan, how many Votan players we got? Got five. I think Votan might have some troubles right now between World Eaters and Death Guard getting a level up, and then Imperial Knights kind of running amok. Um, yeah, Extra Militarum, I guess that's been kind of sleeper too. Tau have been very rough, but you have seven Tau players. Huh. Can Tau do something? Good question. I don't know if they have something to do something about what's going on. Really, I don't know if they have data sheets to handle any of the things that are going to be popular right now. So yeah, I guess the ice cold take is Imperial Knights continues. Uh, Death Watch. I hate Death Watch, but let's see how many of you are here. Three Death Watch players. I guess Death Watch. No, maybe not. Astra Militarum. Let's see it. Only seven Imperial Guard players. I think there's hope because they you might be on combined arms. So I've been seeing a lot more combined arms, but there's still skews onto the other detachments. So maybe. So yeah, I guess final thoughts on the Bay Area Open. I don't think Death Guard is going to be as scary. I know I just hyped it up a little bit. Um, but I think now there's a chance for other things to be aware that Death Guard is stronger. And to that point, I think people that are still playing World Eaters right now and learning the new book might actually do better because everybody's counting that book out except for the World Eater players that know. So that might be something interesting there. Between the two books, I think I uh there's more Death Guard players though. I don't know. Still want to see Imperial Knights Ice Cold take. Hot take. All right, one for each. Hot take Sisters does something impressive. Chaos, 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 chaos. All right, like two of them have their book out, so that's not. Uh, what about Chaos Space Marines? You got any Chaos Space Marine players? Seven. I mean, Ice Cold Take Chaos Space Marines does something. What detachment though? I don't know. I think I was happy that somebody finally took out Failhammer for our Joyride after bitching about nobody taking that either, because that's still insane. Um, Renegade Raiders is still cute. Packbound Zealots is whatever. I don't know. I think you need some veterans of the Long War action in here. That'd be pretty spicy if anybody's running that. And Xenos. What Xenos thing? I don't think GSC can do things right now. Votan, no. Orcs? Orcs? Question mark? Orcs? 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 Uh, orcs might do something. What detachment? I imagine most people are on Warhorde right now. Mordaka actually still topped recently, like with a not topped. I think it had a decent win rate, so I take that back. I think it still had like a 55% win rate last weekend or something like that. Something crazy. Uh, Tactical Brigade. I think Tactical Brigade's still okay. Warhorse is probably safe. I don't know. I would like to see Dread Mob again and another Stompa. That's what I would like to see. So, we'll say Dread Mob Orcs does something interesting. Those are my hot take picks if anybody's taking them. Let's see. And that's kind of the wrap up of the bigger singles events that I saw. But now, let's talk about the NTL Season 1 Finals at DreamHack, hosted, excuse me, by Away Games. So, this is a team event, and it's a team event with serious players. Got Art of War going to be there. I Are they covering it again? They covered the last time they were at DreamHack, right? Uh oh, looks like the U.S. Army dropped. Oh, Steven Box of Vanguard Tactics is flying over. Interesting. I didn't look ahead of time. And Ben Jones as well. United Midwest Project with looks like they had to call in reinforcements. So I do team tournaments a little bit differently. Uh, in the calls because this one's a little bit more forgiving, and half of these people are 40K famous. So maybe I might open a list or two. I think that's more fine in this setting, maybe, and maybe we'll see. But this one will be hosted. Will be hosted. Oh, it's hosted by Away Games, but will be covered by Tactical Tortoise. So this is scheduled to start. Well, as you can see at that start time, I guess I should have just been like, duh, like still there. Oh, I don't know if the tabletop. There you go. And I don't think War Games Live had theirs up. But there you go. Tactical Tortoise will be covering DreamHack. So that'll be pretty interesting. And again, in Texas. We were also in Texas for why'd I even click the Bay Area Open for Texas? Goodness. The Dallas Open. So, if you're in Texas this weekend, I hope you're at one of these two events and we'll have some fun. Now, looking at the roster, as you can see, Art of War will be in attendance. We have Emerald Dreams. Then we have Emerald Dreams Buy Round Bullies. That's kind of funny. Y'all Hammer. All right, so awesome, Y'all Hammer. Uh, my French is rough. It's been several years, so I won't do that today. Sorry. FC Dallas, Gateway Gamers. Looks like I can't even do English right now. Georgia Warlords, Midwest Monstars. Shout out fellow monsters. Pro Tabletop and United Midwest Project. So let's see what the teams are bringing. Art of War has Guard, World Eaters, Emperor's Children, Orcs. All right, I believe Jack has talked about it on Art of War real quick, so I do want to take a peek. Is this Corn Demonkin? I believe that's what he. It is. Okay, so they are live. Just had to do a quick peek. I really think Corn Demonkin is pretty strong. That's going to be something. I rate that one highly. Like just making blood letters after getting your ass beat by fucking Scarbrand is insane. And again, I'm just gonna, slide this in here because I don't know if I'll make it a dedicate an entire video to it, but I think the new Corn Lord of Skulls is good. Like, I know it's 505 points, but you were taking Angron for 450? How much was Angron? 430? Angron was expensive. Um, but now you have a Titanic unit with that shooting and can just go through walls. I think there's some serious things there. Um, does it need to be Corn Lord of Skulls and Scarbrand? No. But actually, funny. I don't know if that still applies. But I made a World Eaters teams video. No, stat check video. Not stat check, but I made a video talking about World Eaters several months ago where they had access to some of the most aggressive brick wall units together possible. Corn Lord of Skulls, Engron, Scarbrand, Bloodthirster, and some other shit, and still within 2,000 points. Now, I'm pretty sure that's not what Jack Harster is doing. I highly doubt that's what Jack is doing. But I wonder if Corn Demonkin ever gets that level of it because you just make blood letters. So that seems fucking insane. Have John Lennon on Emperor's Children. Is it coterie? Sorry, John. I'm curious. It's coterie. I mean it's John Lennon, so that's a different conversation. I get it. Coterie is doing the best, but I also think that's because 99% of Emperor's Children players are on it. The one person that I saw on Peerless Bladesman, which is the one that I rate the highest, I think, did literally the same stats as all the coterie, which was a top and like I think it was X and one or some shit like that for that weekend. So I rate Peerless Bladesman. I think that there's less room for error, and I think you need to have errorless gameplay to win tournaments more consistently. But we're talking about John Lennon on Emperor's Children, so watch out, world. He's on EC. Michael Mann on Orcs. All right, it's Art of War. They probably have the rundown somewhere in the war room, right? That's what the war room. Go check out if they have these live. But now I am curious what orcs we're taking. It's War Horde and Death Guard. Mike is on Virulent Victorum. That's kind of surprising to me. Nick is taking Ildari again. Richard is taking Necrons again, and Shasha is on CSM. I say again because they were just at that one tournament that is escaping my mind right now, and that's when I was like, huh, Nick's on Eldari. Um, Maybe he's taking that over from because Quentin is no longer with the Art of War group. Um, that sounds ominous for people that aren't in the loop. I believe I understand that Quentin has gone back to finish their masters. I believe so. Um, kind of retiring. Last I checked. I believe that's the rundown. If somebody has better information on that, please clear up anything I just said. So yeah, I was like, huh. And he was on Sisters, so looks like Nick is on the Eldari, Richard, Necron, Sasa, CSM. Is it Renegade? Is it Creations? Or something funky? Creations. Alright, cool. So that's Art of War. Art of War at DreamHack. I think it wouldn't be insane to go, yeah, I expect Art of War to do a lot. Next, we have Emerald Dreams. I guess I should do the thing that I do for the other ones. Like, what's the interesting thing here? Hmm. For like the other teams videos I like talk about beforehand, I was like, all right, what's the interesting pick here that other people aren't doing? Sorry, Art of War, I don't think you have one. Might be John on Emperor's Children. I guess that might be the interesting pick. The other one, I mean, yeah, that the rest just make fucking sense. So there we go. Emerald Dreams. What's your interesting pick? Yes, it's probably Tau. Because the current state of Tau is not hot. So I think that's the one that kind of is surprising to me. I think that's the one that I'm like, yeah, we need to we need to help them. So I'm surprised somebody's willing to take Tau, but that's a familiar Tau name, no? Um, sorry, I believe I know I've seen this name, um, but I can't remember if they were on Tau last. But I mean, if you have a interesting Tau pilot, maybe. So Emerald Dreams. Now Emerald Dreams buy around bullies. What's the interesting take here? Dark Angels. It's Dark Angels. Huh. Another army that's been pretty struggling. But if it's Stormlance or Gladius, Stormlance with the Lion might actually be a thing. Like I know, like no shit, people take that, but I mean, it might be a sleeper thing where if more DA players go towards it, I think you might catch a lot of us off guard. So DA is the interesting pick here. Equip Quebec. I can at least do that one a little bit better. Sorry. Uh, Custodes, Chaos Knights. What army are we on here? Imperial Knights. And what army are we on here? Crusher, Stampede, Tyranids. Oh, okay. Another familiar name. I think last time we saw Sebastian on Tyranids was Vanguard Onslaught? Which, if that's the case, then this continues to fuel my anti-Vanguard Onslaught propaganda. uh, I don't think the detachment's bad. I just think that every time people rate it way too highly. Like, I think it's still fine, but everybody goes, yeah, like that's the second best after invasion fleet, and I just don't think that's true, like, at all. Um, Again, I think it's perfectly tame and perfectly fine, but it just has too many places where everything can go wrong, like way too easily, that the other ones just don't have that same immediate weakness. And that's all I mean by that. So, but won't go further into that because that might be wrong. Might be Sebastian might have been on Crusher, and I'm mixing up names since the last time we saw. So, is that the interesting one? Custodes. Another team opting into Chaos Knights, Imperial Knights. Saw that at the last team event for 2 or 3 teams that I covered, and you don't see it as much as I think. Maybe I've just been blind to it and just recently opened my eyes to that, but you usually take one or the other because it's roughly the same build, right? It's roughly the same. Yeah, I was about to say, unless the Imperial Knights player is taking triple type. I mean, there's chance for the Chaos Knights player to do. No. Um, the interesting pick here. I want to say the Custodes. I think Custodes are still good. Yeah, that's it. I think Custodes are still good, but that's that's about that's about that. Then we have FC Dallas that has Votan as an interesting pick. I'll tell you that. Another EC and Tau. Which is more interesting, Tau or Votan as the interesting pick? Guess I gotta say Votan, right? I guess I gotta say Votan. Getaway game. Why do I keep wanting to call you all Getaway? I'm so sorry. Gateway Gamers. Sisters is the interesting pick here. right there. And Space Wolves. Space Wolves. Space Wolves, the interesting pick. Ooh wee. Georgia Warlords. What are we on here? Awakened Dynasty Necrons. What are we on here? Combined Arms After Militarum. Chaos Demons is the interesting pick here. And when I say interesting pick, I should clarify, like, that's the one that I think might make or break some differences where people don't really know what to do with it. Orcs. I guess orcs. Pro Tabletop. What are we on here? Vanguard Spearhead. Was that Ultramarines? Thousand Suns. Pre-book, right? Yeah, it's pre-book. Thousand Suns. Good luck. And United Midwest Project. Matt, what are we on? Noble Lance. EC. Might be Custodes again. What's this Death Guard on? Mortarian's Hammer. It's Mortarian's Hammer. Sorry. I think it's Mortarian's Hammer. Do I think it's good? I think so. But I think that's just because I hear everything in the book is good. So I don't know, but that's interesting. But yeah, this one, probably a longer one. I haven't checked how long we've been going for on this recording. But again, DreamHack, Tactical Tortoise, Bay Area Open, Tabletop Live, Open Dallas, let me know, Rocky Top Rumble, War Games Live. So that is what we are looking at here for the weekend. There's a lot going on, and I'm excited to see what everything does with everything that's been released. It's a pretty interesting time. So yeah, if you like the video, like it. Got a comment from me, comment. And until next time, peace out, my monstrosities.